Tahukah anda apa yang sebenarnya berlaku kepada e-sisa telefon bimbit anda? Membuangnya ke dalam bakul sampah akan hanya mengakibatkan tapak pelupusan menjadi sesak. Tahukah anda lebih 42 juta e-sisa telefon bimbit tidak dilupuskan dengan cara yang betul? Dan jumlah ini akan terus meningkat. Ini berpotensi menyebabkan bahan toksik kimia teresap ke dalam tanah. Secara perlahan-lahan, alam sekitar akan tercemar sekaligus menimbulkan pelbagai masalah kesihatan kepada manusia. Tahukah anda bahawa 90% daripada bahan-bahan yang digunakan untuk membuat telefon bimbit boleh dikita semula? Ianya boleh diguna semula untuk menghasilkan apa sahaja termasuk barangan elektrik. Berita baiknya ialah MCMC telah mengambil inisiatif memperkenalkan kempen e-sisa telefon bimbit atau mobile e-waste. MCMC bersama syarikat-syarikat telekomunikasi menubuhkan pusat pengumpulan di cawangan yang mengambil bahagian untuk orang ramai melupuskan e-sisa telefon bimbit mereka. Dengan 72 cawangan di seluruh negara termasuk TM, U-Mobile, Maxis, Digi, Celcom dan Altel, anda boleh melupuskan e-sisa telefon bimbit dengan mudah dan pada bila-bila masa. Sertai kami untuk mencapai kempen 1 juta kita semula e-sisa telefon bimbit. Lakukanlah perubahan untuk kebaikan dunia, alam sekitar dan masa depan. Untuk maklumat lanjut, layari mobileewaste.mcmc.gov.my. Inisiatif ini dibawakan kepada anda oleh Industri Komunikasi Malaysia bersama MCMC.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Laila Zarifah binti Zulfikri. My student ID is 2015 679 Okay, I am from campus UiTM Dungun. Okay, today I would like to present the Viva Voce for the title of Waste Mobile Phone Recycling Intention Among Dungun Residents. Okay, we go to background of study. Okay, as we know, mobile phone buyers have been spurred by the fast development of innovation and agree to refresh their gadget routinely to stay aware of new advancement, structure and capacity. Okay, subsequently, mobile phone waste has risen fundamentally somewhat recently. So, e-waste or electronic waste includes electrical and electronic hardware that is obsolete, undesirable or broken. That implies everything from mobile phones to end-of-life fridge. Fundamentally, anything that sudden spikes in demand for power will be chosen to dispose of. Okay, this is from Coach 2019. But according to Kuma 2017, there are two ways for a consumer to get rid of their cell phone, their mobile phone for further recycling. There are two ways. Okay, first is through an organized channel, which is they can waste them with mobile phone with company own showroom or authorized dealers. Okay, but the second ways is organized channel. This is includes thrift store and repair shop. So this study focus on recycling items from with mobile phone through recycling solutions. So the product identity and utility will be lost during recycling. So recycling old existing material in objects or parts that are no longer in use in the goal of recycling. Okay, for the problem statement, that's from Lim 2019. The World Economic Forum gauged that a stunning 50 million tons of e-waste are created consistently, yet just 20% is recycled, while the rest of frequently burned or unloaded in landfill. Okay, so in Malaysia, residents are not obligated to dispose of their electronic waste in a recycling facility. So despite the country rising e-waste generation trend based on Young ETAL 2019. So from Hakim 2020, in the Rakyat Post said Malaysian provide in excess of 365,000 tons of e-waste each and every year. Based on the official website of the Department of Environment, DOE told Terengganu has 6 collection centres, of which 2 are in Dungun, 2 in Kemaman, and 2 in Kuala Terengganu. So, Terengganu Department of Environment also collect about 20 and 873,000 ton of e-waste to 2020. This show the awareness of residents in e-waste recycling, but we doesn't know that the extent of the intention of e-waste recycling, especially for waste mobile phone for the Dungun residents. Okay, this is RO and RQ. So for the research objectives and research question, okay, for research objective, first is to identify the level of waste mobile phone recycling intention among the residents. Second is to examine factors associated with intentions of Dungun residents to recycle waste mobile phone. The third is to identify the most significant factors associating with intention of Dungun residents to recycle waste mobile phone. Okay. Now, for the scope of the study, we have element and scope. Element, we have 3 elements: subject, location, and time. For the subject, the scope is Dungun resident. For the location at Dungun, Terengganu, for the time is November 2022 until February 2023. That's a time period that make a research about the waste mobile phone recycling among the residents. Okay, for the theoretical basis of the framework, I choose the theory of planned behavior or TPB. Okay, for the theory of planned behavior, its related constructs have been used extensively in e-waste recycling research, and a significant body of research has been gathered on the intention of recycling waste mobile phone. Okay, TPB, people actual behavior, may be correctly predicted by their behavior intention, and behavioral intention are influenced by people attitude, subject norms, and perceived behavior control. Okay, so when the attitude is more positive and the subjective norms are stronger and more prevalent, the behavior intention is higher. So the TPB has been used to explain people's pro-environment behaviors in major part. Okay, this is from URIF ETL 2020. For instance, Lee ETL 2018 discovered that BBC attitude and subjective norms all affect employees' behavior in terms of reducing construction waste. So, we agree that TPB can adequately explain why people recycling their waste mobile phone. Okay, this is my conceptual framework. This is come up from TBP lah, theory behavior control. So this is attitude, subject norms, perceived behavior control from TBP, and environmental concern. This is independent variables, and dependent variable is recycling intention. Okay, so for the list of hypotheses, from the dependent variable and independent variable, we come out the hypothesis. Okay, for the attitude, the hypothesis is individuals' attitude to recycling is positively related to waste mobile phone recycling intention. It is based on TBB. Okay, so for the subjective norm also, subjective norm for recycling are positively related to waste mobile phone recycling intention. So also for the perceived behavior control (PBC), PBC for recycling is positively related to waste mobile phone recycling intention and the environmental concern. For the last IV is has a positive association with individuals with mobile phone intention. Okay, next, research methodology. There are 7 points that have been in this research. Okay, first is research design. Research design, I use cross-sectional study. Okay, for cross-sectional study, it will allow the researcher or I to compare many different variables at the same time. Okay, for example, we can look at age, gender, income, and educational level in relation to working professor level for the research lah. Okay, so for the unit of analysis, this is individual. I choose individual for waste mobile phone recycling intention among the resident. So sample size is 125 respondents only, and the sampling technique, I use the non-probability sampling, which is non-probability sampling is preferred for this study because it is more practical and predictable method for research to conduct survey in actual work. Okay, so for the non-probability sampling, I also use convenience sampling technique. So for the convenience sampling technique, is to get the market research data from a pool for respondents who are conveniently accessible. So it is the most often utilized sampling technique since it is so quick, simple, and affordable. Okay, it's also frankly easily to contact if they want to be included in the sample. Okay, next, use measurement Likert type scale and data collection. I use online questionnaire from Google Form, and data analysis I using SPSS version 29.0. This is a descriptive analysis, normality test, reliability test, person correlational analysis, multiple regression analysis. Okay, this is demographic profile. As we can see, the item gender from female is higher from male. This is about 60.8%, and age the higher is from group 20 to 29 years old, about 44%, and the lowest is 60 and above, is about 1.6% only. Okay, for the residents, the urban is more is about 64% from urban and rural, which is rural is lowest, is 6.4%. And for occupation, we can see the private sector and student, there are want to be a similarity, but a student is more 1 point, is about 26.4% is the TT frequency. Okay, so for the not working age trial, it's the same, similar, it is 2.4%. Okay, and the last is household income. Okay, for the household income, the higher is about 4,849 and above ringgit. This is 97 frequency, about 77.6%. Okay, Next to the main findings, research objective, analysis results, and hypothesis. Okay, that's the research objective. The one is First research objective is to identify the level of waste micro recycling among the residents. It is shown from analysis, descriptive analysis, that the result mean 4.2300. That means the hypothesis is the level of waste mobile phone recycling intention among Dungun is the high level. Okay, so the resident in Dungun know about the intention of recycling, the true intention of recycling. Okay, so the second research objective is to examine factors associating with waste mobile phone recycling among the residents. So the analysis use person correlation analysis. Okay, based on this result, this is show subjective norms is the higher result from the others variables, which is subjective norms get 0.194 and 0.030. So subjective norms only have significance relation between waste mobile phone recycling intention among the resident, because the Pearson correlation analysis, these subjective norms only have less than 0.05. So the less variable is more than 0.05. So for the last research objective, to identify the most significant factor associating with mobile phone recycling among the resident, which is the use multiple regression analysis. Okay, based on the result, attitude and environmental concern, the beta is negative, but the positive and higher is and have a positive relationship with mobile phone recycling intention is subjective norm, which is there is 0.194. So subjective norms is the most significant factors that relationship with waste mobile phone recycling among Dungun resident. Okay, so based on main findings about the subjective norms is a most significant relationship with waste mobile phone recycling intention in resident. So for the recommendations, okay, subjective norms in the context of recycling refer to the impact of friends, family, and neighbors on recycling intention or behavior. So some people might believe that no recycling will harm their reputation. Based on Barr and Gibb 2005, also demonstrated that people's likelihood to recycle increase if their neighbor or friends also recycle. So, because of recycling is a common practice, based on Divana and Osman 2010, assisted that subjective norms were the second most significant factor influence the intention to recycle. So that's will be be sure that it forces recycling intention to have friends or family who can inform their friends about their potential. Second is the person who recycling the most receive prize. This is government can do the subjective norm effect. Okay, and the last, government support to the public to foster recycling intention. Okay, that's all. That's a recommendation for subjective norms. Okay. Next, for the limitation and recommendation for future research. Okay, we have limitation and we can come up with recommendation for future research. Okay, limitation is This study used cross-sectional study, non-probability sampling, and small sample size. So for the recommendation, we can for the feature, the research can use longitudinal study, because longitudinal study just like cross-sectional study, but research do not interface their subject. Okay. However, in a longitudinal study, research conduct several observations of the same subject over a period of time, sometimes lasting many years. So, the benefits of longitudinal study is that researchers are able to detect development or change in the characteristic of the target population at both the group and the individual level. So the key here is that longitudinal studies extend beyond a single moment in a time. So for the limitation and probability sampling, we can go through the probability sampling technique. Okay, so for the probability sampling technique allow the researcher to draw conclusion about a large population through interviewing and surveying a small sample of that population. So by using random selection technique to choose and survey a sample subgroup, researcher may reduce their own biases and produce reliable findings that represent a population. Okay, so these techniques benefits researcher because it can give them statistical analysis of random subgroups to generalize their finding. Okay, that's for the limitation and recommendation for the future research. Okay, so for the last is conclusion. So the study shows independent variable for subjective norms. The only one has relationship with waste mobile phone recycling intention among the resident. So the second conclusion, we conclude that as a result, the hypothesis for subject norms in this study are sufficiently accepted, since the findings show significant and positive correlations between subjective norms and recycling intention among the residents. Okay, that's all for the conclusion. This is a reference that I used to in these slides. Okay, that we can see this. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you for my supervisor, Sir Muhammad Rozaimi bin Rizwan, and panel. Thank you for lending me your ears. Thank you.